So, last little story I have to tell you. I want to give you some context on it. Just seriously, brutally honest. How many of you guys use your phone while you poop? Just raise your hand. Right? Most people? Right. I see, what I see actually is more liars. Because you do. What are you doing there? All right. So, I'm on the phone for this joke. I'm on the phone and I'm on the toilet. And most of the time when you have a conversation on the toilet, it's a quick turd and talk, you know. You're in, you're out, you hang up before you flush, nobody ever knows. It was great. I'm talking to my brother who's sitting right here, actually. That's about me, all right? So I was talking about him, and I was talking with him, and it was a great conversation. We were talking about politics, science, entertainment, philosophy, amazing things. But it's like 20 minutes in, and I stopped pooping 10 ago. And I was like, what do I do? How do I get out of this? Like my knees, you know when your knees get red? Because your elbows are just pressing so hard on them? My phone is hot, and my ear burns, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna flush, I don't care. So you don't wanna walk away from the toilet like a madman with your freaking disaster in the toilet. So, I was like, you know what, I'm going for it. And as I turn to flush the toilet, my brother goes, hold on, I gotta flush. He was pooping. All right, this last comedian is the vice president of Lame. He's tall, dark, and handsome, and I'm lying about two of those. Please welcome Dave Anderson.
Jando is my least favorite Sesame Street character. Hope your day's going great. April Fools, I hope it sucked. The first thing I did today was Google search Donald Trump. I really thought he was going to get festive with the day, just seeing his past history. Fully expected to log on and just see President's prank gone wrong, Eastern Hemisphere in ruins. You never know with that guy. I can't trust his judgment at all. You know, he's just on off on his hot head doing whatever he wants, and it's not safe. It's not safe. You know, he's had a history of taking his pranks too far, of course. Remember that time he announced he was running for president? So Jando introduced me, Dave Anderson, right? He didn't need to introduce me because of course you all know who I am. I'm on ETV. The host, anchor, close range cable television. Of course you guys have not seen it. I haven't seen it. Yeah, you don't know who I am. But it's in part also because my name is Dave Anderson. And that's not a famous name at all. That's like the name of your plumber. Dave Anderson. Right? It's not famous. You need a famous name to be on television, to be recognized. You don't see any Walter Cronkites working on your drain. Right? That guy was destined for television. You don't see he's like, hey, it's going to cost $400, and that's the way it is. It doesn't make sense. So I need a famous, thanks. I need a famous name. So I started using my middle name, and I'm David Pierce Anderson on air now. That's a cool looking name. That's a memorable name. I was a little apprehensive at first because, 3 names, David Pierce Anderson, that might be a little bit too much, but I thought about it, and there have been plenty of historic people to use 3 names, right? Mark David Chapman, Lee Harvey Oswald, John Wilkes Booth. Come on, they're all famous. You know who I'm talking about. That's a killer list. I was in my car, and an ad came on for hearing aids, and I cannot imagine it was very effective. So most of you guys are students, I assume. If not, you've probably been a student one time in your life. Am I wrong to assume that?
No.
Thank you. So, I always like to think back, that first day of class, first day of the school year or the semester, right? We're all so excited. We're in class. Everyone, like all 25 people are there. They're in nicest clothes. You're all like eagerly waiting. Even the stoners roll out of bed for that class. And that never happens again because by class number 2, you're down to 9 people. 3 of them are sleeping. 1 isn't even in the right room. And 2 of them are just meeting up for a drug deal. Everyone's in sweatpants, they're smelly, they're unshaven, and no one has the book. Not even the professor. But I like to think back to that first day, because it gives me so much hope. So hopeful. And we're all sitting around, we're waiting, we're like, are we in the right room? Because that's always embarrassing when you're not in the right room, and then you gotta leave 4 seconds into the class. You're like looking around, you're worried, and the professor walks in, he's like, hi everyone, you're in the right room. You're like, yes, got it. So that's a good thing. Took one class this semester that I did not need confirmation I was in the right room. Walked in, and as soon as I walked in the doors, I knew I was in feminist theory. Because I was the only guy. It was a room full of women. And I walk in, and I just stop. Because everyone's looking at me, and of course, I'm the only guy. But they're looking at me, and it's not like a good look. Oh my God, excitement for the semester. It's like... They're looking at me like I'm Satan's third nipple. Evil, disgusting, and so out of place. And I just put my head down, and I walk over to my seat, and I admit two things. I'm gonna need a new pair of pants when I get back to my dorm. And I'm not gonna say a word this whole semester. Don't get me wrong, I'm a feminist, right? That is the equality of women to men on political, economic, social grounds, right? That makes plenty of sense. Feminism! Woo! Right, perfect sense, right? I'm a feminist, but I'm also a man. And these new age feminists see me as the problem. David Pierce Anderson, me. Well, basically men in general. I'm right with them on every argument. They're like, we want equal pay. And I'm like, yes, lower the wage gap. We want equality in the workforce. And I'm like, yes, equal opportunity. We want to hang all men by their thumbs in our basement and gouge their eyes out with rusty spoons. And that's where I draw the line. Why's it got to be a rusty spoon? I can't stand up for myself in this class. Because like I mentioned in the other class, there's actually one other guy. He came a little bit later and did the same exact thing. We made eye contact, we're like, oh. He went right to his seat, we went right to his seat, and we hadn't said a word. But this is one of those classes that dwindles. It gains. All right, we had 24 people to start. We're up to 38 now. It's madness. So we don't talk. We don't talk at all. And it's fine. It was working perfectly for about a month, and then I went off script. The glare stopped. It was going good. One day, we're all sitting quietly waiting for the professor comes in. She goes, "Hi everyone, today we're going to be working with privilege." And I go, "Always do." I appreciate the laughter because no one did that day. They all glared. They turned around, silence, glared. It felt like I spoke out of line in the army. Just a bunch of crew cuts and combat boots staring me down. It wasn't that bad. It was rough, so I just shrunk back and started doodling again, right? And the other guy was like, no. A couple weeks go by, and we're putting group projects, randomly assigned. And it just so happened me and the other guy were in the same group. And we had 3 other girls with us. And we're like, all right, we saw what happened last time. We're gonna be quiet, we're not gonna do nothing, we're not gonna say nothing. And so we're like, all right, we're in agreement. But the project still had to be done. So the 3 girls went ahead, did a great job on the project. We finished it up, got the grade. So, the women did all the work, the men sat back, did nothing, and got credit for it. We missed the whole point of the semester. So yawning is the most common form of peer pressure. Yeah, that was all that one was. But yeah, I was a complete loser in middle school. I went from a private school in the suburbs, from preschool to 6th grade, with about 12 people in it, to a public school off of 8 Mile, with about 1,200 people in it. That's a bit of a culture shock, right? I'm glad I had it, really thankful for it, but it was also a difficult time. Not only was I going from a tiny school to a gigantic school, but I was also in the process of becoming a man. And I want to make one thing clear. I was not a younger, smaller version of this tall, strapping young man that you see here today. I was a fat kid with a buzz cut. So, this whole thing of becoming a man was a lot more difficult because part of the process of becoming a man is the discovery of girls. And it's a beautiful discovery. It's like Christopher Columbus discovering America. He's like, oh my God, this is great. Look what I found, it's great. Look at this. Oh yeah, we've been here. The whole time, we've been here. And so it's difficult, not only I was a Chub Scout, I was switching schools and becoming a man. It was a difficult time for me, right? When I would say hi to girls, they would respond by, oh no, I'm not going to finish that. And then they'd hand me a donut. But I got a lot of donuts, so that was good. So that was difficult. Another problem I had, and I kind of still do have, is I play stuff out way too far in advance in my head. The opposite of Jando. Gets to bring his shorts home. I plan my funeral. But that's really difficult to live life off of, obviously, right? So, but I got in middle school and I see my crush. And my mind would go straight to, oh my God, she's beautiful. We're gonna start dating next Wednesday, and we'll go to the park and get ice cream, and then we'll graduate middle school and go to the same high school, and then our 5-year anniversary will jump up on us, and then we'll graduate high school and go to different colleges, but we'll have problems in college, but distance is hard. Then we'll graduate college and go to London. I'll propose to her, and we'll have a wedding on the East Coast, a little small one. I think she'll like that. But I hear Vermont is beautiful this time of year in 2021. And then we'll move back to Royal Oak. We'll have 2 kids, Gabrielle and Michelle. We'll retire at the age of 58, and I'll die before her. Then I snap back to reality and verbalize that as, hi! Oh no, I'm not gonna finish that. That's my bit, everyone. Thanks for laughing. We still got 2 more games.